What's going on, everyone? So Final Destination 6, Final Destination Bloodlines is right around the corner. Death is peeking around the corner for all of us as we approach this film. And, we got in the little trailer, got a couple teasers. I think that they've done a really good job with the marketing of, this upcoming installment, especially being the sixth installment. You got to kind of, get people excited. You got to kind of get people back in the saddle. It's a beloved franchise, beloved horror franchise, traumatized all of us growing up. But this is a film that's long overdue. I mean, this is a film that was in like purgatory for like 10 years. It was like almost, greenlit several times and just fell through and now we're actually here. We're actually going to get the film and it's exciting. And I'm pumped. And, I'm really curious to see how are they going to tie these into the past films. And we're supposed to get a bunch of explanations. And, I'm very excited for it. Right. Well, the marketing doesn't stop. The fun continues with new posters or, little continuity posters for all of the films. So they went through and made these identical style posters to kind of give this continuity of the franchise. I imagine at some point it's going to be part of like the box set, but you've seen the skull with like the 6 in it. Well, they did that with all of them now. So now we have all these different films, and my guess is that we're going to get to see all these films tie into each other, right? Now, to what extent, to what degree, we'll have to wait for the movie. But I imagine that this is going to be, like I said, I'm pretty confident we're going to, like, in the trailer, we saw the first premonition. That's probably going to be the first one. I imagine we're going to get some explanation as to, like, why death is doing what it does and, what is death and, what are the premonitions come from and why is the premonitions. And, there's going to be a lot of just interesting elements that I'm excited and looking forward to in this upcoming, Final Destination film. It's also, at the time of recording this, second most watched horror trailer ever, right? Like, there's a lot of excitement for this film. There's a lot of pump. A lot of people are pumped for this film. And that's exciting in and of itself, right? Because, look, one of the things that I said as soon as this got greenlit was they're not going to stop here, right? If this movie's half successful, we're going to get another one. They're going to keep bumping these movies out, right? And now that you look at the hype and you see the hype, this film is probably going to have a ton of success. Movie's probably going to do really well. And thus we'll end up getting more films, which sign me up, right? It's one of those franchises that, it's just, you love them, right? As it had some duds in the franchise, sure. As it had some films that you're kind of like, sure. But for the most part, like, they're fun. You know what to expect. You know what you're getting into. You just... Again, it's one of those things where you just kind of turn off your brain, relax, kick back, watch it on the big screen, see, eating your popcorn, like, oh my God, no, like, and just enjoy the moment. It's an experience in a lot of ways, right? Now, is the story a little silly at times, a little all over the place? Does that really make sense? Sure, of course, right? But you're there for the elaborate kills, the extended deaths. Like, how does death kind of come for these people? What kind of chain reaction domino madness are we about to see here, right? And again, I'm not saying that some of them didn't have good stories or some of them didn't have good writing and execution, right? But it's one of those things where it's like you're going into the film knowing what to expect. You're going into the film with that in mind, right? Like, you're there for the kills more than anything else. But I am excited to see how it all kind of ties together. I'm excited for the continuity, right? There is an argument to be had either way, in my opinion, on whether they should explain things or not, right? Because there are some things that are always best left to the audience's imagination, right? Like, why did the premonitions happen? If you want to explain that, like, that's fine, right? But there's also an argument to be made of just like, let the audience come to their conclusion as to why, right? So if death is coming after everybody, maybe it's God, right? Maybe it's an angel. Maybe it's, death. There's this balance in the universe and it's just death, life always gives you a chance, right? Like, whatever. Maybe it's just the universe, right? There's a million billion possible potential outcomes that you can have with like why the premonitions happen, right? Tony Todd's character, Williams Bloodsworth, right? Do they explain who he is, right? They're supposed to kind of give you some information on him and his character and stuff. And, is that something that they should do? Is that something that they should just kind of leave ominous, right? Like we all kind of have our theories and thoughts on who and what he is, right? Is he death? Is he an angel? Is he just a mortician, right? Is he just somebody that just is around death all day, every day, so he just has a good grasp and understanding of it, right? Like there's so many things that you can, again, kind of make that argument for or justify either way. At the end of the day, I just want a good film. Good story, good film, good execution. I hope it's not too convoluted. I'm glad that they changed the formula a little bit, right? To add a new level of freshness, right? It's not, now it's a family. It's not like, and it's somebody that is privy and aware and knows and, is now going to kind of pass down that knowledge. And, it's not something where it's just like these kids that are, random group of kids that now have to kind of figure this out. Right. I'm sure there will be a level of like figuring it out, but you have kind of the grandma that's going to give some insight and give some understanding and actually knows it and kind of give them a head start a little bit. Right. She's been holding off death for however long it's been, 50 years or however long. That bodes well if you're trying to survive, right? And you're trying to be the next person to kind of stand offline. I mean, I think it's safe to say grandma's probably meeting her in rather quickly. After once granddaughter gets the book and everything, it's probably the end of grandma. I don't think they're gonna she's just gonna be able to keep going back to grandma and being like, oh hey, well, because otherwise she'd just sit down and explain it all. But we'll see how this plays out. I do like the continuity posters. I do like that they're trying to kind of shape this franchise into just one cohesive story. And, to me, at the end of the day, it's about, the kills, obviously, but, the execution, delivery, acting, like you gotta make sure you do right by this, right? Because they have a really good chance right now. Really good chance. Right? There's a ton of hype, ton of excitement, ton of eyeballs on this franchise now. You do right, you make a great film. All of a sudden, we look up and boom, we're here. Right, you got a new movie following this one, and keep the party going. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, and I pass the question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? You excited for this film? Are you kind of do you want more films after this? Do you want them to explain things? What do you think of the continuity posters? However you feel, whatever your thoughts are. Either way, love to hear it. Let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot, so we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.